Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer, coming to you straight from the Philippines, enjoying my holidays. I hope you guys are doing the same, right? Enjoying some good food. You're sitting there with family, and I hope everybody out there's doing great. Well, guys, let me say this. If you would have told me, I don't know, 2 years ago, that RGT85 would be the adult in the room, I would have said you're crazy, right? Just based on just watching his videos. I don't know the guy, but just, his public persona. Let's just put it that way, right? But I recently watched his video, and all these known YouTubers, there might be others, but I'm just talking about my experience. He's the only one who had the balls to take it face on, right? He dealt with the Gerard thing face on, and he dealt with people's perceptions, if you will. Idiots like me out there in the internet commenting a lot of crap. And, I do this for the purposes of entertainment, right? We can sit here and have opposite points of view. It's okay if you disagree with me. What do I know? I'm sometimes in the can watching these videos, right? I'm no expert. But there's things you can capture, from what people are saying. And I have to say that he's the only one that I saw that actually had the balls to face it head on, right? He wasn't chicken shit like a lot of these other YouTubers, prominent YouTubers, making community posts like Pat the NES Punk or tweets like Woodhacker. He faced the camera and addressed it, and by the things that he said, let me tell you, by the things that he said, you can infer a couple of things that we believed for a long time to be true, right, regarding this community of YouTubers at that level, right? And he took it on, man. And let me say this. I found him to be more mature. I hadn't watched him for a while. Right? I found him to be more mature. I found him to be a better YouTuber than he was before. I don't know if, the challenges in his life have given him a different perspective. But let me tell you, he definitely earned my subscription again. Right? I'm going to be paying attention to RGT85 again, which is good. There's so many of these big YouTubers, you don't know who to believe anymore. Everybody's so fake because everybody's about the money. And in this particular video, you could tell he just did not give a fuck. That wasn't, he wasn't going to sell out like the rest of these bastards, whether they had, acquaintances with this guy or what have you. I mean, when you get to be that big, even if you disappear from YouTube, guys, you can be in the background and still pull some strings. Well, he doesn't give a shit about that. He just took it head on, and addressed the subject like we wish other people that, that usually cover this kind of shit had the balls to do. But they don't. They don't do it. They cover their ass by making a community post, a tweet, and make no videos, when in every other instance they would make a video. RGT85, to his credit, he made the video, right? And agree or disagree with him, at least he had the balls to put it out, which is more than you can say for a lot of these idiots. A lot of these idiots that are in on the play, right? A lot of these idiots that could have access to this guy and actually talk to him, get the other side of the story, whatever, right? Because we all have friends that have screwed up. I have friends, you have friends, we all have friends that have done bad things. I have, friends that have been in prison. But when it came down to it and I asked them, hey, what happened? They tell me, what, I screwed up. I lost my temper. I did X, Y, or Z, right? And you just have to accept it, You have to accept it and say, okay, that's my buddy. He screwed up. He's got to take ownership for this. And we move forward. But you don't shy away from it. You don't try to minimize it. You don't try to protect him when it's obvious he completely screwed up. And not only that, he's still not taking full responsibility. With this guy, it's always somebody else's fault, right? And that's what I always tell you guys. You need friends that tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. Whenever you see people like this, right, whether it's this guy or any other scammer, like the guy from WADA, Tommy Tallarico, they're surrounded by people that tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to know. And you can tell it's obvious with this guy, right? This guy's an actor, a writer. So, you know, he'll stare right into the camera and say what he needs to say. I wouldn't believe this guy, the completionist, if his tongue was notarized. I would not believe this fool, right? And anybody that is true to themselves and knows what this guy is facing would think the same thing. Unless you have a business relationship, unless you have something to lose, unless you have something to gain, right? So what's happening now is these big YouTubers are making these posts or doing these other things, and you have people coming in, oh yeah, that's understandable. And it's not understandable. It's not understandable. If you hold everybody else to a higher standard than you do your friends, you're full of shit, is what you are. And this is what these YouTubers are. I'm not going to go give anybody credit for making a post or for saying, oh, I'm wrong, but they wouldn't make the same video that they would in any other circumstance, right? If you make a video on Talarico, you need to make it on this guy. If you make a video on Pro Jared, you need to make it on this guy. If you make a video on any other scandal, right, and you roast the guy and you crucify him, you have to make it on this guy because this guy is worse than all that crap put together, right? It's just that bad. You know, there's very few instances when what you do as a YouTuber can affect people's lives, right? That money could have helped somebody, right? You don't know how many people gave their last buck. You don't know how many people had family members that were going through the same thing, that were trying to donate in order to improve their lives, and they never did because that money just sat in a bank account. This shit is so immoral that why would you give this guy any leniency whatsoever, right? If you really are his friend, you need to sit him down and talk to him and say, dude, what in the holy fuck? You know, I appreciate what you did for me in the past, but this is fucked up. You need to own this. I mean, you need to follow your counsel, you know, whatever he says, but holy fuck, man. You can't be out there threatening to sue people when you've done this kind of shit. You can't put pressure on people not to say anything when you've done this kind of stuff. And if you're somebody who's covering for this guy, covering for this kind of behavior, then shame on you. How the hell do you have any credibility to moving forward to make any kind of video criticizing anybody else when this bastard right here has done one of the worst things ever on YouTube and you're over here rubbing his nuts? RGT85 definitely is the adult in the room here. And the rest of the guys, they're just cowards.